Welcome to the City of Florissant podcast, where we talk anything and everything related to the beautiful City of Florissant.
Hi, I'm Mayor Tim Lowery, and welcome to another edition of the Mayor's Podcast Show. With me today is Corey Williams, who's with the Small Business Administration. He's a Public Information Officer, and Tiana Suber, who is the Public Information Officer for FEMA. So, guys, we're getting close. You guys been here for quite a while now, since the end of July, and we're kind of wrapping it up. And so what kind of updates you got for us, and where are we at with our disaster relief?
Well, we are slowly closing in on the deadline. So far, we've helped over $100 million. We've approved over $100 million for this disaster. At this point in time, we're just asking that you take that chance and take that first step to your recovery. And if you still have questions, keep in touch with FEMA. Make sure everything is up to date. Anything that is missing or incorrect will delay your application. So if you get a denial letter, don't give up on that as well. Don't get frustrated. Talk to somebody in FEMA, talk to somebody at a disaster recovery center, and make sure you get all those questions answered. We don't want to leave anyone behind in this disaster recovery process. So we have 2 disaster recovery centers left. We have one in the Rankin College, and we have the other in the Centennial Commons.
Okay. That's one thing that I've heard from many of the small businesses, that they have been denied and they do get frustrated. But as we mentioned before, that doesn't mean that's the end of the process. It's just that something else needs to be completed, or certainly, like you said, go back to one of the centers and make sure that you fill out further paperwork. Or is that the right process, I guess? Or
yes, I can understand when people have lost everything and they're trying to figure out this and they're trying to figure out that, and reading something all the way through can be difficult because you're not ingesting that information. But with government letters, especially ours, you have to kind of just read through it to find what it is that is missing or what it is that FEMA needs from you, and make sure you have those things. Make sure you have your receipts and your documents, and bring all those things. And if you feel like you need to write an appeal to FEMA, you can as well, with more documentation to prove that you need this much assistance or that much assistance. So it's very important that you don't give up when you see that letter. Don't throw it away. Read it through, or ask a FEMA representative, what can I do with this letter? What do I need?
And then the same also, Mayor, for SBA. A no is never a final no. So keep in mind that once someone may be declined for SBA, they have 6 months to apply for reconsideration. So the one thing that we want to make sure everybody does, just take a look at the letter, examine it. It may be credit history. So there may be some things that you can fix on your credit during this time period. Or it may be repayment ability. Maybe you have a new job or a new contract that added additional income to where you now have repayment ability to take on a SBA loan. So always just make sure to examine the letter, take advantage, especially if it's a credit history issue, because you are allowed to get a free credit report if you're declined, because again, that's a part of the Fair Credit Act, to be able to have access, if you are declined credit for any reason.
Very good. So, Corey, do you feel like most of the people now have at least applied, or do you think we still got some people out there that still need to apply for these loans or assistance?
Well, Mayor Lowery, it's always some that always wait to the last minute, Absolutely. Unfortunately. And the one thing, messaging-wise, with Tiana and myself, we just want to make sure that even those last-minute people, the biggest thing I think that we're going to have is the people who are waiting for their insurance. Don't wait for the insurance to kind of respond. If you're in that process, please, please, please submit that application, register with FEMA, but make sure that, again, you don't want to wait for an insurance recovery that may take another 20, 30, 90 days or whatever and get you outside of the November 7th deadline. So make sure that if you are pending any insurance claim, complete that SBA application. And again, the one thing is, once you register with FEMA, if you receive that referral to the U.S. Small Business Administration as a homeowner renter, it's very incumbent to complete that application to complete to continue your disaster recovery process. So again, don't feel like you have to wait for insurance. Go ahead and apply today. Don't delay.
Very good. So November the 7th, that's the day that you guys pack up and leave the city of Florissant in the St. Louis area. So how does that process look? We got about 11 days left. I mean, what happens in the next 11 days?
Well, Tiana and I are going to make pushes on the media, trying to make sure that we're getting the word out. Of course, there's also a declaration in East St. Louis now. So that's another piece of the puzzle. So their deadline is going to be a little bit different than the deadline for the Missouri deadline. But the one thing is, we're still making that push. Mayor, you've been simply amazing, allowing us to be on your podcast and just getting the word out. But the biggest thing is just making sure that no one's left behind. I literally walked a business owner to our business recovery center yesterday to make sure he completed an application, and then I'll do the same thing, whatever's necessary to get them in there to a disaster recovery center or apply online. Because again, even if they can't physically visit a disaster recovery center, they can apply online by going to disasterloanassistance.sba.gov. Again, that's disasterloanassistance.sba.gov, or they can call SBA's customer service center number, which is 800-659-2955.
Well, I just want to tell you guys about how much we appreciate you guys being here in the city of Florissant and certainly getting help to our business people, our residents. It has meant a lot that you guys have been here. You guys have been great to deal with, both of you have, and so we certainly appreciate everything that you guys have done to try to get the assistance for our people here in the city of Florissant.
Yes, and thank you for having us. And we just want to let everybody know that we're still here. So everybody's not shipping off to Florida or wherever. There will still be people here even after the disaster. Even if the disaster recovery centers are closed, you still have people to talk to. You still have the 1-800-621-3362 number, and you still have disasterassistance.gov and the FEMA mobile app if you're fancy with technology.
Very good.
So we're still here, but we're all over helping everybody at the same time, and things are just happening at the same time. So don't ever worry that FEMA's just left completely. There's still some people that will be here, and of course, once you get that registration number, as Corey said, you're in there to get help after that deadline. So just make sure that you apply, and don't leave anything behind.
Very good.
Register today. Don't delay. If you get that SBA application, apply today. Don't delay. Thank you so much, Mayor, for having us on.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. So this concludes another edition of the Mayor's Podcast Show. We are Florissant Strong.